Runners, and I believe that I have a word from God for you today, and that word is hungry. You gotta be hungry. What we found is that if you're hungry or you're excited about something, then you can actually start moving forward with living that as a part of your normal part of your life. But you have to be hungry for it. You have to want it. You have to really desire it. You know the biggest difference between Michael Jordan and George Phillips? Well, George Phillips you don't know because he never made it to the NBA. But Michael Jordan worked hard. He worked completely on everything basketball from the time that he was 5 years old to the time that he actually retired. And he's probably still playing basketball because it's been his life. He walked around with a basketball, he slept with a basketball, he bounced a basketball to school, he bounced it back, probably in detention when he got in trouble. I mean, there's all these things that Michael Jordan did because he was hungry to be a basketball player. And that's the difference between the people that make it to the NBA or to the PGA or to the NFL or to the Hall of Fame, whatever it is that your goal is, whatever your desire is, you got to be hungry for it. And that includes hungry for a relationship with God himself. I want to take a couple of verses and see how this can actually be applied to our life. Now, make sure that you subscribe over here because when you do, you won't miss any one of these videos. You can also go to our website at awfg.today, and when you do, you can get every single one of these, and I'm sure that they'll make a difference not only in your life, but in the lives that you come across. I also encourage you to share this on Facebook because it'll make the difference in your friends' lives as well. So these are the verses that I believe demonstrate to us that we should be hungry to go out and do what it is that God wants us to do, but also to live this life of victory. Colossians 3:23 tells us, put your heart and soul into every activity you do as though you were doing it for the Lord himself and not merely for others. So we want to make sure that not only am I doing it for myself, but I also want to make sure that I'm doing it for others. I want to make sure that I'm doing it for the Lord himself. If I know that God is pleased when I'm working hard towards the things that he called me to do, then I know that I can be that much more successful in my life and in everything that I set my hands to. You know, Paul the Apostle takes the time to show us that it's important for us to run a race, but not only to run our race, but to run the race as if we were going to win. We're here as Christians not just to sit here in church, not just to sit around and do nothing, twiddle our thumbs until the rapture or whatever it is. God did not call us to do that. He wants us to do something, but he wants us to do it with all of our heart and all of our energy. So if I'm running a race, I need to run that race to win, right? Well, Paul goes into this and he talks about this in 1 Corinthians 9:24. And this is what he writes. You've all been to stadiums and seen the athletes race. Everyone who runs, one wins. Run to win. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're running this race so that we can win the race that we've been called to run. Now, that means that I'm not going to be running backwards. I'm not going to be running sideways. I'm not going to be walking the race. I'm going to be running with every bit of energy that I have so I can concentrate on winning that race that I'm in. And we should have that same attitude about every single thing that we do. The very next verse says, all good athletes train hard. They do it for a gold medal that tarnishes and fades. You're after one of gold that's eternal. So our ultimate reward is going to be for us in heaven, and we can look forward to that, but we also want to make sure that we're not only achieving the goals that we've set for ourselves, but also for the growth that God has set for us. Remember, God's given us the opportunity and the ability to be able to grow all the way to the point of his return or until our death. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're focused on growth, and if I'm focused on growth, that means I'm going forward and I'm attacking every single thing with the same intensity that I did when I very first got started. You know, we can continue on in 1 Corinthians 9:26, and it tells us, I don't know about you, but I'm running hard for the finish line. I'm giving it everything I've got. No sloppy living for me. Now, this has been the Message translation, but it's also helping us to see in our own language how important this really is. So why not take the time to be able to run this race, make sure that you're running hard, and that everybody else can see that you're running hard as well. Now, it isn't for your own glory, but it is to inspire others to be able to give every single thing that they've got as well, so that they can do that in a way that will honor God and also not be a sloppy way of life. So we can finish up in this same chapter, and it tells us, I'm staying alert and in top condition. I'm not going to get caught up napping, telling everyone else about it, and then missing out myself. So what we want to do is we've got to focus on what it is that God wants us to do. We've got to be hungry, as Les Brown says. We've got to go out, we've got to accomplish that perfect task that God has in store for us. So why not find out what that is, or at least do something with all your effort towards what it is that you believe at least in the direction that God is sending you in. Based on these things, this is the word that I believe that the Lord's given to me for you today. Get hungry. I have so much in store for you, but you have to want it. Do you? So we have to ask ourselves, is this what God really wants for us? And if we answer that question as yes, then why not go out and take it? Take it, it's yours. Go out and be that miracle going someplace to happen.